Check me out.
Yeah. Hey there, podcast listening people. You know we're grateful to have you here. We really appreciate it, sincerely. Do us a small favor. Before you leave today, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review for us wherever you're listening on all the great platforms we're on. We're on pretty much all the podcast platforms out there. So don't forget, leave us a review. Give us a shout on social media too, wherever you see us hanging out. We love to hear from you guys, and we continue making this great for you from your feedback that you provide us. And I have a fantastic show for you today. Kelly and Matilda are on, and they're the founders of Adventurist Backpacks. We did a three-way podcast with this one. It was really fun. And what's interesting is these guys are in total startup mode. We haven't had a ton of startups, for various reasons. They're not super accomplished, but I intentionally wanted to get these guys in front of you so you can hear their story and hear about the incredible conscious business that they are building with Adventurist Backpacks. They are the emulation of what it means to build a business with purpose. So for every custom, really nice, beautiful backpack that they sell, they provide 25 meals for families in need across America. And I believe as of so far, they've donated over 19,000, close to 19,000 meals at this point in time with their backpack sales, which is just incredible. And if that doesn't describe what it means to be a mentor and to give back, I don't know what does, guys. And not only that, these two inspire me so much because I aspire to have a power couple, like be in a power relationship at some point in time. And like, that's a goal of mine. And these two live by that. And they really do have a power couple dynamic, building this business together, growing it, knowing anything and everything about the financials of the business. And that's a challenge. It really is. No matter where you're at, like what stage you're in, it really is. And so, huge kudos to these two. I cannot wait to share their information with you. Before we do that, really quick, if you're interested in sponsoring the show, partnering up, collaborating in one way or another, don't hesitate to reach out to us, milehighmentors@gmail.com. Again, milehighmentors@gmail.com. Or you can give us a shout on social media, DM us, and we'll see what we can do to partner up. Something we're always open and interested in. Again, real quick before we start, our partners over at Active Blogs have a free resource they want to give to you. If you sell products and services business to business, you probably know LinkedIn. It's a platform to be, but it's really convoluted, and a lot of people don't know how to use it appropriately, how to use it effectively to increase your sales, get more reach, be competitors to clients. And so that's what this free training includes. You can give that a watch at activeblogs.com/webinar. Again, activeblogs.com/webinar. And that is the missing links to LinkedIn success. Okay, folks, without further ado, please welcome Matilda and Kelly to the Mile High Mentors podcast. First off, appreciate you joining. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Super excited to share your story and what you're up to with everybody. I want to hear from Matilda first. What is your favorite part about Colorado?
So for me, I think that what I love the most about Colorado is the weather. It's so beautiful here. Love that you can be outside year round. And of course, the people are awesome. So everyone's so friendly.
Yeah, and I will have to go with the mountains. I'm going to just go with the good old Rocky Mountains. My favorite part about Colorado, 100%.
The weather and the mountains. It's a good combination. Probably why you guys get along so well, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good combo.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And How did the two of you wind up meeting?
So I came here to Colorado 4 years ago, and I was working as an au pair, so like a live-in nanny for a family. And we met. So Kelly was living up in Fort Collins.
Yeah, I had just graduated from CSU, really recently, and
Go Rams.
so we ended up. Yeah, right on.
Did you know I'm from Fort Collins originally? I was born and raised.
You mentioning that's awesome. Are you were you born in Fort Collins then?
I was born in Fort Collins, born and raised.
Awesome.
Right.
There's not too many of those, actually.
I know, we're a rare breed of people. We're like unicorns.
Exactly. But yeah, so we met after I graduated from CSU, randomly bumped into each other at a coffee shop. So that was on like a drive down from Fort Collins. For me, I was driving down to Monument, Colorado, where my parents lived, from Fort Collins. And I needed a pick-me-up on the drive home, so stopped at a coffee shop, and the rest is history.
So did you approach Matilda, or Matilda approached you?
Yeah, I'm Swedish, so I don't really approach strangers. More of a Coloradan thing to do.
Yeah, it was a lot of hard work breaking the hard shell around a Swede.
Oh, the Swedish are a tough group of people, huh?
Yeah, not too keen on stranger conversations.
And Matilda, you moved straight from Colorado from Sweden 4 years ago, or you were living somewhere else before then?
No, yeah. So I moved straight from Sweden to Colorado. And yeah, I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any family here. So, just having an adventure.
Adventure, which is pretty fitting for the name of your guys' company. Seems to be a pretty common theme with the two of you.
But for sure, we definitely love to travel, and so it was the perfect kind of fit for us.
Yeah, definitely.
So Kelly, you said your parents lived down in where is it again? Totally blanking.
Yeah, Monument.
Monument, that's right, Monument. Which Monument's pretty underrated. It's a beautiful little town. Not a lot of people know about Monument because it's just like right before Colorado Springs, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like a little. Well, it's grown a lot in the past few years, but it was a little like truck stop town. There were like horses and cows all over the place. Not so much anymore, but just like a nice little town nestled up next to the mountain. So it was awesome to grow up there for sure.
And were your parents entrepreneurs?
No, they were actually, my mom was a teacher for a long time. Most of her career was spent as a Spanish teacher, actually. And my dad worked for the government. He retired when he was like 50, so I can't even remember him working so much at all. But
so he was probably like a CIA agent or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is interesting, guys, because this is the first podcast that we've done remote in a way with two people on. So, for those of you that are listening, we've got both Matilda and Kelly here, and we're trying to make the conversation fluid. But so I'll ask the same question of Matilda then. What about your parents? Are they entrepreneurs? And because you grew up in a totally different culture, so it's really interesting that the two of you are growing this business together.
Yeah, so it was completely different from how Kelly grew up, but at the same time, it was a little bit similar. So I grew up in this tiny little village, you could call it, with like 5,000 people. So it was really like rural. And my mom is a preschool teacher, so also teacher.
Yeah, both
and
educators.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And my dad is a dentist. So he has his own practice. So that's a type of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so he's entrepreneurial for sure.
Yeah, so that's how I grew up. And yeah, I came straight from there to Colorado. So it was a big change for me.
Did you just literally throw a dart? I just messed up my mic. Throw a dart at the map. You're like, that's it. I'm just going to hit Colorado.
Well, to be honest, I knew nothing about Colorado before I moved there. I barely knew that this is where there were mountains, you know?
Didn't you want to go elsewhere?
I wanted to go to California or New York City. But so with being an au pair, what they do when they, when you hook up with an agency, they send you a request from families, and you get to choose a family that you like, and they could be anywhere in the U.S.
So you hooked up with an agency. Is this a Swedish agency that does nanny placements in the U.S.?
It's actually an American agency that works with other countries to get people over here. So
yeah, and of course you wanted to do California, New York, Florida. When you travel all over Europe and you talk to people about the U.S., the main cities they talk about, either New York or California or Florida. That's it. They've either traveled there or that's all they really know, or Texas.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Colorado was completely new to me, I knew about Aspen. That's about it.
You knew about Aspen. And, so for you guys, were some of were your parents your biggest influencers in terms of getting interested in entrepreneurship, or were there other influencers on your life that maybe still are? Who were your influencers early on in your lives?
So, I guess I would go with my parents for sure. So my mom is originally from Mexico City, and she moved to the U.S. when she was, I believe, 18 years old. And so she's an immigrant from another country, and I feel like there is something about having a parent as an immigrant who had to come in and, prove themselves. They had to learn a whole new culture and a new language, and something about that has such a drive, and that obviously passes down. So my mom taught me, to be a hard worker, and that all things are possible as long as you want to do it and you set your mind to it. So that's the kind of mindset I feel like that immigrants can have. And so for me, it was definitely my parents, and also my dad as well. He's a very intelligent guy, and knows a lot about finance and stuff like that. So that goes hand in hand with business, learning to be frugal. And I guess my parents are definitely a huge influence for me in my entrepreneurship kind of journey.
Yeah, for me, I think that all of my siblings, I have 3 siblings, they've all lived abroad before me. They're all older than me. So from them, I've definitely got, the confidence that I can go and live anywhere I want to. So they helped me with that. Specifically, my older brother, he has really, been an entrepreneur. He's a videographer, so he's like a freelancer. So I've seen him, get all of his work by himself, work hard and get ahead. So that's definitely inspiring, I would say.
Yeah. And you two are inspiring. You're inspiring to me. I love what you guys are doing and the business you're building. I don't know if you've listened to the episode that we had done with JV Crum, the Conscious Millionaire, but we had talked about, the impactful companies of the future start with the impact, not the money. And you guys have really built that. So let's give people some context here. How did you guys start Adventurist Backpacks?
So I guess we started. Well,
they're looking at each other like, who's going to answer the question?
So let's see. Yeah, it started about like, maybe the first seed of the idea happened about 2 years ago. Our company just turned a 1 year old this month, by the way. But yeah, so about 2 years ago, we started thinking about starting a backpack company. So obviously, Matilda being from Sweden, we travel pretty frequently. We go back and forth to Sweden from Colorado really often to visit her family and whatnot. So we needed a backpack for ourselves. And so basically, what we were looking for didn't really exist in the marketplace, which was a high quality, fashionable backpack that we could actually afford. And that's like the key point there, that we could afford. There are some cool backpacks out there, obviously, a lot of them, but a lot of them also are upwards of $100, $150, $200, which was a bit out of our budget. So we wanted to bring something that looked good, Scandinavian style backpack to the US and sell it for something that an everyday traveler could afford. So that's really where the backpack part of the company came in. And then when we were traveling the summer before we started the company, we were wanting to give back in some way. Travel gives a lot. And we wanted to just not be receiving the whole time that we're traveling, but also try to make a positive impact. So what we would do is we would go to supermarkets each morning and we would fill up our backpacks with groceries. We would prepare meals and we would hand them out to anyone in need throughout the day. And obviously, giving someone a meal doesn't solve a lot of problems. It doesn't solve hunger or anything. But what we wanted to do is just show a little bit of kindness. And through that, we were like, it seems like we should be giving back in some way with that company we wanted to start. Why don't we give meals through backpacks, just like what we're doing now, handing out meals from our backpacks. So it kind of, that's how it all started.
And you said when we had talked before that most people in Sweden wear backpacks, like these style of backpacks, whether it's like a business person who's like in a dress suit, or any, like, backpacks are a bigger thing out there apparently.
So yeah, the key thing there is that they wear backpacks as an accessory to their outfit. They use it for something that will enhance their look rather than something to just carry their stuff around in. So when you put a backpack on, it should make you look better, not worse. So we definitely, that was for us when we were designing this backpack.
Do you find that same trend is happening in the US more so? Because I've never really heard anybody talking about backpacks as a fashion accessory.
Yeah, I think definitely. I don't know if it's always been like this, but I see a lot of people who are really like trendy and they want to look good and they care about how they dress, and how they dress shows who they are. So I don't know if it's our generation or if it's,
Yeah, well, I feel like at least people are ready for fashionable backpacks. Nothing against Jan Sport or anything like that. Obviously, we all rocked one of those back in elementary, middle school, but
I still have a Jan Sport backpack.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple, but so yeah, we think it's time for people to start, using backpacks here as well to express their style. Obviously, there are companies like the really high end fashion, like Gucci or anything like that. They make their little backpacks, and that's like an expression of style. But maybe it could kind of go down to the mass market where everyone is able to express their style through a backpack, and not just people that have thousands of dollars to spend on one.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, the company was born on the road, like you guys were actively out traveling and you're like, oh, we should start a backpack company? Or did you get home and then kind of had that, I guess, epiphany?
I think that we definitely, well, we had kind of been talking about it while we were traveling and before we were traveling when we were looking for a backpack. And then once we were actually traveling and, you know, giving meals and feeling like that's something we want to keep doing, that's kind of when it clicked. That's when we were like, okay, we're doing this, you know?
Exactly. And traveling definitely had a big part on influencing what we thought could be a cool looking backpack, like traveling around different areas. Obviously, like we mentioned in Sweden, people wear them as an accessory to their outfit. And so there's a lot of different backpacks to look at and get inspired from. And same thing from other countries, just even if it's not a backpack, just different, you know, architecture or design in any sort of way can influence like, oh, that would be something cool to add to a backpack style. So traveling always helps us with the design part of things.
Yeah, definitely. And it also helps us to know, you know, what do you need in a backpack when you're traveling. So we made sure to make ours like the perfect size to put under the seat on an airplane because, you know, that's what you need to do. We also made sure there's like, you know, a pocket for your passport and stuff you need to easily get out, things like that. So water resistant, you know, never know when you're going to be caught in a rainstorm.
Exactly.
You guys really designed it in a way that's convenient for travelers. Like, hey, this pocket should be here because you're trying to reach out for your passport, or when you're walking around, it's easier to grab your water bottle here.
Definitely. And at the same time, we wanted to make our backpack as minimalist as possible, which comes from the Scandinavian style. So while we wanted to make everything easily accessible and good for traveling, we also didn't want a backpack with like 3 million pockets and gadgets and stuff like that. Because, I mean, that definitely already exists. If you want like a backpack that does everything, yeah, I mean, like Swiss Gear and stuff makes great backpacks for that. They might just not look fantastic, but I mean, hey, not everyone needs that.
Yeah, and I think we just kind of looked at like to ourselves and what we felt like that we needed, you know? What do we actually need in a backpack and what is just excessive?
Exactly. So yeah, definitely played a part in our design.
Yeah.
And how long ago did you guys go from concept to hard sellable product?
What was it? I think it was about 9 or 10 months from the concept to when we actually got backpacks and started selling them. Yeah. So, I mean, we started requesting samples from manufacturers within a couple months after we had the idea. And then a couple months after that, we had finally gotten enough samples to know that we had found the right, style, and everything was the way that we wanted it. So then it was another about 3 months for the manufacturing process and for the backpacks to get to our doorstep.
And for those that are listening and they're interested in building like a product-based business, how did you go from how did you get the scope from the manufacturers? What was that process like?
So, well, our first step was just to sit down, you know, with graph paper and a pencil, measuring and drawing out exactly what we wanted. And after that...
Yeah, so after the design, like doing all the designs ourselves on sheets of graph paper, we looked up how to get it made. And one of the things that popped out to us as something that a lot of people used was Alibaba.com. And so through that, I mean, obviously, well, for those of you who don't know what Alibaba is, it is kind of like it brings designers or companies together with manufacturers. So we were able to look through thousands of manufacturers all across the world.
Do you have to pay to use that?
Actually, no, you don't have to pay a single thing. So that's nice. How Alibaba, I think, makes their money is they take a fee once you make an order through a manufacturer, so completely free to use and to look through all manufacturers. And, when we were doing that, obviously we had to sift through a lot of manufacturers that weren't necessarily great. When we got, like, say we ordered 10 samples and 8 of them were the worst thing we've ever seen in our lives. One was the next worst thing we've ever seen in our lives. And then one was like, okay, that has a little bit of potential. So, I mean, you definitely have to, like, sift through. It's not all manufacturers are created equal on Alibaba, but you can find good ones. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you sent it out, and then what made you, like, how did you confirm this is the manufacturer we want to go with? Because something you talked about, and I think you had talked about also in your Forbes article, is that backpacks are damn expensive to make and to purchase. So how did you guys design something in a way that was actually affordable?
So one thing that we actually found out is that it's not quite as expensive to manufacture backpacks as we had previously thought. So you can definitely...
So they just mark them up quite a bit? Like, that's the biggest thing, is the margins that they're putting on it?
Yeah, and when we found this out, it definitely, like, it kind of, like, made us angry, to be honest, because we were like, okay, now I know for a fact how much it costs to get a high-quality backpack, and, like, 3 extra pockets doesn't make a price jump from $60 to $180. So I'm not sure about this, but yeah, so it was definitely less expensive than we thought. Not like it's definitely not cheap by any means, but it's less expensive than we thought.
Yeah, and I think that our minimalist design also helps with that. And, you know, it's always like the larger quantity order, the cheaper it gets, things like that you can work with, fewer colors, stuff like that. But we just wanted to, you know, make something that we were proud of, and we kind of, that was our main goal. So before we were worried about the price, that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we weren't going to sell anything we were embarrassed about from the start.
Yeah,
so when
it is important for sure.
Exactly, definitely. And so that's really, when we found the manufacturer that we liked, we knew, like, the quality was great. It exceeded our expectations, which was definitely a good unexpected thing to happen. And also, they were very just reliable. It was a pleasure to work with them. And yeah, so it was an easy choice for us once we found the right manufacturer.
And you guys started up with zero fundraising. How did you build the capital, or get the capital to start up the first few products?
So we had some savings that we used. We also got to borrow some money from Kelly's parents, so that was a huge help. Our startup capital was how much?
I think it was $7,000 exactly. So yeah, I think $3,000 of it was ours that we had saved up, and $4,000 from my parents as an investment. So, well, I mean, you know how it works with parents and whatnot, but they're just being nice and helping us go for our goal. But
so I guess so you did do capital, but there's no external, like, you didn't go out and raise funds to invest. It was all family and your own savings.
No, not at all. And definitely $7,000, from what we've learned with other entrepreneurs that we've talked to, is definitely a minimal amount of money to start out with.
Tiny, yeah.
I mean, after we had spent the $7,000 on purely buying the product, we were like, well, we have to be pretty creative now, because there's no money at all left for advertising, marketing, anything. So
we had to be very lean with our money, and, you know, not spend anything on stuff we didn't think would pay off, or that was, you know, that we just couldn't afford. So we have, since the beginning, we've been, you know, doing stuff organically and a lot of free stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so definitely that helped us, honestly, in the beginning. I think I wouldn't want to change how we started because it was the right thing to do in order that we were able to get the proof that the backpacks worked. Since we didn't have any means of getting the word out there about our backpacks other than like our Instagram account. And then the first day that we launched, we were able to get like a few orders from people. It was a proof to us that like, okay, like we can go ahead and keep pursuing this because we sold a few backpacks and we didn't advertise at all. So we can use all the profits from backpacks that we sell here at the beginning to fund any marketing that we want to do in the future and buy more backpacks. So yeah, just a very lean startup. And now here we are a year later and, you know, we've grown a little bit, but have a lot more growing to do as well.
Well, hopefully that's the idea, right?
Absolutely.
How did you guys organically drive those sales in the very beginning?
What we did was that early on, like even before we had the product or had launched our website, we started an Instagram account and we started using it in the realest way we could think of, you know, like not just trying to get followers, but trying to connect with people and, you know, do something real. And then we actually, like a couple of weeks after we launched, we were contacted by this, like a chain retail store in Montana, who wanted to place a large order right away. So that was huge for us.
Yeah, definitely. It happened within like the first week or so. And this is just from being on Instagram and posting, you know, like lifestyle photos. We would go out to wherever we were exploring or traveling, and we would bring along our sample backpack and wear it. And then, so for example, we were able to do this all over Europe, all over the US, and just take pictures in front of cool, like travel-y things, you know, just, it was like really authentic because it was actually us traveling and taking photos.
Yeah.
But
Matilda already kind of had like a significant following on Instagram, right? From all your photos. Because you have, how big is your following on Instagram?
No, actually, no. My following was not large before.
Yeah, I think your following is smaller than mine, and I only have like 200 or 300 followers.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of maybe an affiliate page, or because the backpacks page has a couple thousand followers on it right now. But
yeah.
But yeah, no, go ahead. So you started sharing out your adventures with people with the backpack, and that was driving organic sales for you without paid advertisements.
Exactly. And I mean, so through that, like Matilda was mentioning, we got into a retailer in Montana that they had 6 stores. So they're, you know, a small chain. And they ordered up in our first week of being in business about like 1/6 of our entire backpack stock. And we were like, whoa, okay. So it's, that worked better than we thought.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from there, we've been very big advocates of social media and having a presence and just being, well, I guess being authentic on social media, not trying to use it to sell things, but just trying to use it to interact with people. Because, I mean, there's part of me that didn't want to get so into social media when we started. I like talking to people in person or like, you know, in real life. But it actually is like fun sometimes to get to know people that you never would have met in your life before via social media. And
it's so much fun for us because what we're still doing that we did in the beginning is that we're posting photos of people who are actually using our backpacks in real life. Like we don't have like photo shoots with models, you know.
Yeah.
All of it is just people that take their backpacks, go out on adventures, including us. And it's kind of like a way for us to see where our product ends up, which is so much fun, which we wouldn't have been able to if they were just sold out of stores and no one posted about it. So really a fun way to connect with our customers.
For sure. Yeah. So definitely social media was a big part in starting, really the only way that we started. So that was the beginning for sure.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's super incredible. I mean, like, people undervalue just sharing your story and just the value of social media on its own, like organic. If you have something that's great and it's worth getting the reach, it's going to. And it would have been selfish of you guys to not be on social media, right? Every backpack you sell is going towards helping people. So it would have been a selfish move not to do that, I believe.
Yeah. I haven't thought about it that way, but I agree. Yeah, it's definitely the more backpacks we can sell, the more meals we can provide, and hopefully we can get it to where it's just a constant stream of meals, onward through the future.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. And that's why it's so much fun for us to see the company grow, is because we know that, the more backpacks we sell, the more meals we can provide, the bigger we get, it's just.
Exactly. And as you were mentioning, like, money is like, well, to just be honest, like, we don't really care like that much about the money part of it. Obviously, you need money to live, and we would like to live comfortably. So that's like, I mean, everyone does. So that's the same thing as anyone else. But with our company, it's definitely about spreading the message of kindness is one half of it. And then the other half, we do want to, we think that our backpacks are truly like cool. So we want to share that. We want to grow our brand. That's a huge thing for us, is like having a project that we can have goals and work towards and accomplish those goals. The feeling of like accomplishing a long-term goal, I think, well, I don't know yet, but I think when we accomplish that, it will be better than any amount of money could possibly be. And the feeling of helping other people, that is priceless.
Right. Well, you guys are, in your Forbes article, you did what, about 50K this year, right? No debt.
Yeah.
And with that, guys, really listen to this. You've donated over 18,775 meals, right?
Yeah. And now we're actually just over 20,000. It's not updated on I don't think it's updated on our website yet. Maybe a little bit, somewhat updated, but we update it every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
It's a good feeling for sure. And I think for us also going into this, I don't think that I would be able to go into this and be starting a company and trying to sell something if we didn't stand for something that we believe in. I truly, like, for me, I think that the goal would be that every company in the whole country would give a small percentage from what they make and give it to whatever cause they believe in, and it would help out a lot. It would make things better.
Absolutely.
We truly believe, like, the country and like our communities in the lower scale and our whole country on the bigger scale could stand to grow and progress so much more if every single company just gave back in a little way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like capitalism. I think that entrepreneurship capitalism is a great thing. It makes people competitive and work hard. But at the same time, like, if you don't give back and you don't try to help others that didn't have a chance from the beginning to do something, then we're all missing out on a big opportunity to make our country as a whole better. And that doesn't just make it better for the people you're helping. It makes it better for yourself, because if your country is better and people are happier, that's just a better thing for anyone.
Mm-hmm. Right. And now it's interesting because in Sweden, it's not like you don't have the same capitalistic opportunity if you were to be building this company in Sweden, right?
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Sweden is, it's very different. The whole mindset is different. if you have a huge company, you'll be paying a lot in taxes. You'll be paying more than you make. You will be paying in taxes to help out other people. So it's definitely different. And I don't think that the opportunities are the same in Sweden. It's definitely harder to grow a company and make it huge and, keep it going. So yeah, it's definitely, the opportunities here in the US are amazing. So
yeah, I mean, there's like, not to get political, but like we do live in a time where people look down upon capitalism. But if we were, some people not, but there's this negative stigma around getting rich, building a business. Rich doesn't even just mean financially rich. If you guys were doing $1 million a year, don't you think you could impact more families than if you're doing $50,000 a year?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah.
And if you were in Sweden, the taxes that, the heavy amount of taxes, you guys wouldn't be able to decide to donate that extra margin to families in need, right?
Yeah,
exactly. And just to delve into it just a tiny bit more, Sweden is built so that most people that are, not wealthy do have everything taken care of for them, such as medical, completely free. You can go to the doctor, you can walk into the doctor whenever you want. You won't pay a single penny.
Free childcare, free education to up to any level.
It's like 6 weeks to more than that paid vacation from any job every year. It's just like they do have stuff together. So it's almost like if we were there, we wouldn't need to, there's not as many people that need help because the government there does take care of it. But living in a country where we have 340 million or however many people we have in the US is definitely not as simple as a country that has 12 million people total.
Right. So what's the roadmap, guys? What's the next 5 years going to look like for you?
So I think that our goal is to obviously keep growing at a steady pace. We're hoping to hopefully be able to get into a larger retailer to get even more exposure and get the word out there. We're hoping to be able to provide more meals. We're hoping to be able to do even more, charity events and to be able to actually get out there and hand meals to people.
Definitely all of that, as well as designing new backpacks. We definitely want to come out with a lot more, a few more to start out with new products. We want to keep designing. That's definitely a big thing for us as well. And it would definitely be cool to start up our own sort of event in some way. I mean, if we could start up an event here in Denver that's something where people come and it's all in the name of helping others out and maybe feeding people here in need in Denver, something local, that would be really cool.
We're also hoping to eventually, be able to start employing people, to create, one of our goals as a company is to create a workspace for other people that's really fair and that's fun and that is, creative. And
definitely. And to add to that, going along with, obviously we provide meals through our backpacks, but it would be a little bit hypocritical if we didn't want to also provide jobs for Americans here as well. And with that, one of our goals is to hire people, at least a certain percentage of our hires. We would like to be people that have been recently unemployed or people that maybe have been homeless or something. We want to be able to give people a real opportunity to succeed also. That's a huge goal for us. And I think that would feel like really great if we were able to do that sometime in the next few years.
I think you guys should, we were talking about this on Instagram, Kelly. I think you guys should start a podcast. I think you should start the Adventurist podcast, and you should interview all these travelpreneurs that are all over the world, the remote bloggers and other people with like adventure travel pages, right? And kind of use those as influencers to drive more awareness. But I think you guys should get a podcast rolling for that. That's just my
I'm sure we would learn so much from everyone, and it would definitely raise our wanderlust through the roof hearing everyone's travel stories.
Yeah,
so that might, I don't know, it would be cool.
Yeah.
What's the best advice for people who want to travel the way that you guys do on a budget?
I think one of the things we try to live after when it comes to both being an entrepreneur and travel is to, there's never going to be a perfect time, so might as well do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that is that's the key, is like, there's like never, when is there ever a good idea or a good time to take like 1 month off and go travel the world? There's like, that's not ever a good option, but it at the same time is always a good option. So just do it.
Yeah, don't wait for the perfect timing. Just book that ticket and there's no way back.
But I guess
I'm seeing an emerging Nike campaign here. Just do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, their slogan is good because I didn't even think about Nike, but
they have something.
That's a catchy one.
People think that it's much more to travel, but it is affordable. It does come down to that. You just have to do it, right? Like I was
exactly.
Yeah, I had that kind of mental block myself before I started doing my first international traveling, and realized like, oh, well, the most expensive part of this is just getting to the damn country. And then once you're there, you can live on, you can live pretty significantly more inexpensive than even here if you're traveling here in the States.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you never have to go to like a sit down restaurant when you're traveling. That's like something that you can save money on easily there. Just go to the supermarket and make your own meals, or I mean, there's plenty of food stands everywhere. You don't have to
Some of the best food we've had is from different like hot dog and bratwurst stands.
Yeah, I mean, if you cut your expectations of a meal down to like a box full of French fries, then I mean, you are definitely in the right mindset to travel.
You might be a little lethargic by the end of the trip, but you're going to have food in your stomach at least.
Yeah. I tend to put on a couple pounds whenever we travel. But
yeah, you're doing enough backpacking and walking around to burn it off anyways, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing. If you don't have that much money when you're traveling, all you can really do is walk around and see stuff. So,
which is also the best part about traveling. So
exactly.
It works out.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, guys. I absolutely love what you're doing, and I'm here as a big supporter of you, and I'm sure other people who listen to this will feel the same. And with that note, how can people get in contact with you, find you?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much. We're really happy to be here. Talking to you, and
absolutely.
All of what we're doing wouldn't be possible or be happening without all of the people out there. So
all of the help we've been getting. I mean, we love Mile High Mentors, and we love your podcast, and what you're doing is awesome as well. So you've inspired us as well. And so thank you for that. And thank you for having us on.
Yeah. Get in contact with us.
Oh yeah. Getting in contact with us. You can go to our website, which is www.
I don't even think you need to add that anymore, dude. I do the same thing though. I like try to direct people to the website. I'm like, it's www. Wait, does anyone even need that anymore?
Yeah, it's the World Wide Web dot.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, adventuristbackpacks.com. That's our website, adventuristbackpacks.com. You can also search us up on Google, Adventurist Backpack Company. And
that's the number one. That's where you guys are selling product, is on the adventuristbackpack.com website?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Adventuristbackpacks.com has all of our products and more info on our company, and we post blogs on there that we write about traveling and stuff. So if you ever need any tips about places to travel or places to eat while you're traveling, we have stuff like that up there.
The foodie in me is getting really excited right now to go read this blog.
I know, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Yeah. We have the best French fry places in there, so
so
take a look.
Yep.
Best French fry place where?
Well, across Europe.
Across Europe.
So next time.
So it's not. So I'm starting to get a theme here with the French fry thing. So you guys are just traveling French fry enthusiasts, is really what it is.
Really, the powering force behind our adventures and everything is French fries.
That's awesome. Well, cool guys. Well, thank you so much. We'll have to connect again, 12 months or down the road and see where you're at there. And those of you guys listening in, as always, really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review before you leave today, and we'll see you on the other side.